Welcome back, everybody. And we're coming to you straight from Helvetia. Yes, we are still in the truck. Some updates have been made to it. We have been building, making improvements, and things like that. And the line is starting to form. That way, people can get some snacks and stuff. But while I have you here, I want to give you a quick reminder that March 3rd, the new season does start. Okay? Right there. That's what Bethesda's going for. Now, with that, we also get Bigfoot's Bash, and that's going to run until March 10th. There's some new stuff being added, but we're going to get into that in another video. Now, this first camp that we're going to take a look at is done by the legendary Moonlight, a cowboy. So, Moonlight, obviously, you guys know who the heck Moonlight is. He needs no introduction, but he loves taking prefabs and even non-prefabs, just a regular camp. But he really focuses on clean builds, things of that nature. But he's been on this kick where he's been taking prefabs or pre-existing locations, rather, I should say, and then reskinning them. New walls, new floors, new roofs, giving them a completely different look than what they have out there in the wasteland. And one, it's a fun thing to do. But number two, it can be a challenge because sometimes we have collision issues with some of the pre-existing stuff. I mean, the new build system hasn't made everything perfect out there in the wasteland as far as building goes. So there are different little things that you have to do to try and finagle it sometimes. And pre-existing locations are definitely one of those. Love the little kitchenette area over there. And I like how you've included some things like the fishing lures. It still shows that, yeah, it is a clean build, but we are here in the wasteland, and this person here, they might need some of that stuff to go out there and survive. Very cute though. And unless you've really built a very, very small micro camp, you don't realize how hard it is to get all the items in there that somebody would need to survive or give the illusion that somebody's there surviving. It's a challenge. Micro builds can be very, very difficult because, again, just because you can merge a couple objects doesn't mean that you should or that it makes sense to do that. So you have to pick things wisely. Moon is a wise man when it comes to this stuff. Very nice. I like it. I think it's a really cute build. And one of the reasons that, I chose that is because you don't see people build very often in fire towers. Very nicely done, Moon. Definitely digging it, my friend. Very cool. So we got talking over in the voice chat the other night, and I was asking people, hey, how many flamingo units can you put in a blueprint, like a single blueprint? So were using the googly and couldn't find anything. So we laid out 100 flamingos and then, blueprinted them just to see what the heck the answer was. And the answer is 50. You can have 50, and that's it. The reason that I want to do that is because I want to work on a build where I can just put everything in one blueprint and I can place that camp anywhere. So now you have your answer. This next one that we're going to take a look at was created by Talibe. And yeah, this is freaking amazing. So Kashi helped with the filming, the editing, but the build itself was done by Talibe. And I'm going to shut up. You guys need to check this out. We're going to have a moment of silence for anybody who's lost anybody because it is a hard thing to go through. My heart goes out to you people because we've all been there. What an emotional journey that video is. Unbelievable. And what that is, you guys, that is a masterclass in storytelling, because if they were able to elicit an emotional response out of you, and I want to remind you guys that that video is much shorter than most of them that are submitted. And if they elicited a emotion out of you in such a short time, it is a masterclass in storytelling. Wonderful job. Wonderful job. Now, for a little bit of contrast, we are going to take a look at Widow Bite and how she has lost her mind. I think that she finally snapped and she has officially lost it. This is a little bit older of a build, by the way. But yeah, it's a shoe. It's a shoe. And this poor lady that is acting, that is Vi. So Widow Bite has forced Vi to live in a shoe. And yeah, this is the results. Now, what's crazy, and again, is I picked this because of its very unique shape. You guys submitted some really weird stuff this time. And, I love seeing that. I love the variety. But poor Vi, you know, how could she do that to her? But when you look at the interior, this is not what you would expect looking from the outside. That fireplace and the hearth, the mantle, everything looks really, really well done. But yeah, I think Widowbite has officially, finally just lost it. A shoe. And what's cool though is that, like, when you look at things in Appalachia, like we have the giant teapot and stuff, those are real locations out there in the world. Same thing with this. There's actually a shoe house out there in the real world. So it's really cool that you guys are getting inspiration and stuff from that. But poor Vi, being forced to live in a shoe. This cabinetry in that kitchen is absolutely gorgeous. Did a really, really phenomenal job, Widow. Now, I've seen this one before. I mean, this is maybe the third or the fourth time that I've watched this video. It's really, really well done, though. But what a unique idea. And that's something for you guys. Maybe this will be some inspiration for you to go out there, use the old googly and find out what kind of real homes are out there that are very unique or oddly shaped. It might give you some ideas. I like that bedroom set. And I think that's the first time that I've seen anybody use the rolled up rugs like that. All in all, well done. You could see Vi was tripping up the stairs a little bit. Those making custom staircases like that, you got to be really, really careful. It is so hard to get them functioning properly where your character's not tripping over their own feet during the animation when they're walking. And I mean, it can be a freaking nightmare. And obviously, she was really restricted with the amount of space that she had to try and make corrective actions like that because, well, it's a shoe. Yeah. Nike, eat your heart out. Boom. Look at that. That's the widow bite. Good job. So now we're going to transition from crazy, lost your mind kind of build to something much more practical and is definitely, definitely needed for the people of Helvetia. Let's take a look. So this adorable creation was created by Atomic Pixel Dust. And when I say that it was definitely something that was needed by the people of Helvetia, well, it's true, because every community has to have some running water source of some sort. And, well, we don't see a whole heck of a lot of wells out there. But they have running water. Yeah. So that means that Atomic Pixel Dust did a smart thing and turned it into a pump house that could supply water pressure. Pretty cool. But she also did it in a really cool way. I love this kitchen. It is such a small little kitchenette, but it is cute. But, doing the little gift shop on top of it. And it's all Fasnacht themed, which is really enjoyable for me to see because, we don't use our Fasnacht camps year round. The vast majority of them, they are heavily Fasnacht themed. And, you don't see people using that for their normal everyday camps. Look at how adorable this is, though. This is one of them cute little places that you see, and you're just like, oh, that's adorable. I got to go check it out. I love the market here. The market with the masks and stuff, and then you've got your vendors behind the garage door. That was smart. I like how you put that garage door in there. It's just adorable. Yeah, just all around. It is a cute camp. It's one of them places that when you're traveling down the road, you're going to see it and say, oh, I need to go stop there and check it out. Nothing overly done, nothing too crazy. It's just a cute camp. And you did a really good job. I like the decorations on the displays and stuff like that. Couple of quality control issues there with some floating objects and collision, but it's not the end of the world here. These are Fasnacht camps are temporary. I love the little chickens in there. You got the metal chickens. It's just an all-around adorable camp, and you gave it a purpose. I really like how you raise the walls up so the water can flow through there. You're not blocking or damming up the river. It's very nice. And this kitchen, again, man, that is adorable. I love this, you guys. I think it's such a cute little scene. Yeah, see, you can see under that wall right there, like the water can flow through that. That's really smart. Really smart. And you got your spot for your vaults to be hidden. A little control station for the pump house. I like it. You did a really good job overall. I'm happy with this one. Proud of you. Good job. So once upon a time, I did a challenge build, and one of the rules in the build was you weren't allowed to use prefabs. And the internet being, well, the internet, now everybody thinks that I hate prefabs for some reason. Right, and that's just not true. One of the things that I've really been enjoying about the new build system is people using prefabs in ways that you normally wouldn't. ND is one of them people who's been doing that recently. And what I mean in ways that, is like uncommon or whatever. What I mean is using portions of the build and merging it with other items and stuff so it doesn't look like just this typical standalone prefab. They're customizing it, making their own, and especially this build right here. And you'll see on the back side of this there are some columns. They're made out of, they're supposed to be made out of concrete, but utilizing that area just specifically totally gives it a different look. It doesn't even look like Fallout for the most part. And a lot of the prefabs, they have special little things about each one of them that it doesn't even look Fallouty. So when you combine them in certain ways, you can really manipulate the game appearance, And I hope I'm saying this to where it makes sense to you guys. But yeah, I have no problem with prefabs or anything. I love prefabs. The issue I had with prefabs before was that if you hung pictures on the wall, sometimes they wouldn't stick to the wall or they would float away from the wall. And we don't have to worry about that now because we can free place items. So prefabs are completely a viable option now. And these are the columns that I was talking about. Look at those concrete columns right there. This is a fantastic prefab. Especially if you want an alley scene or an industrial scene, something like that. Don't ignore that basement area with those columns. That has a lot of potential and a lot of different applications. You can see them off to the right and the left right here in this hallway. those columns, they look good. And then right in front of us, you can see them again. So yeah, I am totally not against prefabs. I think that people just need to use them properly. Make them your own. Don't leave it a default structure and then just decorate the inside. Especially now with the new build kit, or new build system, I should say. Man, prefabs are a really, really good asset to have. But knowing how to use them, that's important. ND's last build, he mushed a whole bunch of them together, and it was like 11 or 13 different prefabs, something like that. Plus, he had a bunch of vaults. It was insane. So, one thing I would tell you, other than enjoy this beautiful scene, I slowed down my talking because I was staring at the scene. His builds are amazing. I love ND's stuff. But yeah, just use the prefabs properly. That's the big thing. That's the big takeaway. Now, I do want to take a quick second to thank you, Epic group members, and this isn't all of you by any means, but it's either through some of the donation or your involvement with the community, your participation in this stuff. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be on here right now. And, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. This next one that we're going to take a look at is from Six Samurai Gaming. Now, there's a few things that Six does that really, really stand out from the crowd for me. And one of them is his cabinetry. And at the end, we're going to get to see this bedroom set that he has created out of this conglomerate of things is amazing. Really nice with the landscaping and stuff like that, using some of the plant life and everything to cover up the foundations. That is a really good way to get that immersion. That Jeep out in the front, it wasn't floating, it was sank down into the terrain. Um, all those little details like that, you guys, it really makes a big difference. And, with the foundation here, because this is a more deserty scene, I probably personally wouldn't have went with so much greenery. But, to each their own. Everybody's got their own style. That's a great way to hide foundations, though, or support pillars, things like that. And it adds a layer of realism because, it's not like everybody's got a weed whacker laying around out in the wasteland. You're going to have some stuff growing through things like that. And then his interior work's always really, really well done. His cabinetry work is phenomenal all the time. But when we get to the end here, the bedroom set in here is absolutely amazing. I'm really impressed with this one. It's nicely decorated, though. It's very immersive. I like the paint mixer being implemented in this. Same thing, with this concrete mixer. Very cool. Nice little kitchen area. See what I mean about the cabinetry, though? There's always a lot of work with his cabinetry. I love the use of the shelves. If you look at that cabinet surface, he has shelves sank down in there, and that way he can use that diamond plate for the top surface. It's really cool. Get the Mothman light up in there. Okay. Right here, corrugated piece of sheet metal on the ground right there. Very neat. And that's what I mean. It's the silly little detail work like that. It's time consuming to do, but it makes a big difference. And if you really look at it, you only need maybe 10 things like that, and it really will set your camp apart aside from the others. This bed is freaking amazing. That is my favorite bed here recently. Amazing job, man. Well, some of you are probably wondering, hey, there were 6 videos, not 5. Well, and that's because Trav's left ear has 6 fingers on it, and that's what I was using to count. So that's why he wears the mask and stuff. But yeah, no, it's because, well, he does have 6 fingers on his left ear, but it's because it's Fasnacht, and we're doing a special for Fasnacht. And honestly, guys, some of the ones that, instead of giving them just a tiny little brief showcase, they need to be turned into some 3-minute videos, man, because they are good. Get your entries in. I love you guys.